What's going on, guys, to the 39th episode of Breaker Debates. It's me, Narik Chase.
And Madam B.
Ooh, she was late on that. We gotta work on that. Anyways, we are going to discuss Leprechaun Origins to finish up our tally of the Leprechaun film series. So, Leprechaun Origins serves as the 2014 reboot, directed by Zach Lipovsky. Don't know how to say his name. Oh well. And honestly, this movie was utterly barbaric. To quote Mr. Simon, this movie was just lame. Give us some general thoughts of what you think about it.
Well, now that I'm like seeing it, it says it's gonna. It doesn't have anything to do with none of the previous Leprechaun movies. So, why put it in the Leprechaun series?
Like I said when we was watching it, I can deal with it being a reboot. I can deal with some changes, but the creature was literally, the Leprechaun was literally just retarded. It was stupid. There was nothing to it. As much as I panned the other movies, kind of because of the Leprechaun, I didn't really. Actually, much as I disliked those movies, the Leprechaun actually stood out in all of them. I liked them. And I'm like, okay, this one had no presence. It had no personality. It had no character. All it was a generic monster. And for them to say that this is Leprechaun Origins, and it actually is supposed to be the same character, it's a travesty. The person that directed this, Zach Lipovsky, Lebowski. I don't know how to say his name.
Lipovsky.
He should never direct another movie until he take at least several more years worth of training or something. This movie was just stupid on so many levels. Let's just jump on the story. Story is these kids are vacationing in Ireland. Good setup.
But first,
go ahead.
The first beginning, the two people that was in the first beginning, I don't know. I guess they, because the bag she found at the end was one of their bags that they had dropped in the beginning. So I guess that's why he was after them and he killed them. Okay.
Like the story follows these tourists, 4 American college friends that go to tour in Ireland, and they end up taking up residency in this little countryside village.
And they never did say what the name of the village. They said Irish countryside.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's why, because think about it. The dude kept saying that this place was like off the map or something like that. Mm-hmm. Which, I can kind of understand that. I can give him that one. But it still don't kind of make sense anyway. But anyways. And of course, they end up having to deal with this leprechaun. The story itself, I didn't mind. The people in the village end up mining and end up getting a hold of his gold. So he's like basically holding his village hostage. And to appease him, they're sending tourists out to get killed. Okay, that's actually a pretty good premise.
But it would have, you remember why I asked you why did he lock them up in the cabin? Mm-hmm. It would have been good, like before they came, they had like a town meeting or something like that. Like, we can't risk any more of our people or something like that. And then they came. There would have been like a little... It would have gave me some insight on why because I never did know why until a little bit later why he locked them in the cabin.
I caught on to it as soon as they realized that the doors were locked. In fact, I caught on to it when you mentioned the Rolex, which I didn't see. I seen him do something, but I didn't know what he did. Mm-hmm. But when you said that, I was like, I knew it. Okay. Then when they end up actually being like, we're locked in here, I'm like, okay, that confirmed.
Well, that still would have been pretty good. That's usually what the little small villages do, have a little town meeting or whatever in the pub.
Mm-hmm. Like I thought that was actually a pretty good premise. Don't let the title fool you. Leprechaun Origins. This has nothing to do with Origins. If they want to say this is that how he got his start as a reboot, they still should have said Origins. They should have just left it as Leprechaun. And yeah, like the story was, but also the story was also highly cliche. We knew who was gonna die. We knew when they were gonna die. We knew who was gonna bite the farm or bite the bullet or whatever it is. How you say? We knew everything. Even how the story revealed itself, we knew how. I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is just so generic. What do you think about the like the stones and all of that stuff?
I mean, you didn't really see much of them. The about the tall monolith thing.
Yeah, those did not play a role in this movie whatsoever.
No, because we all we saw. It's like it isn't right, like an up close thing to it. Mm-hmm. We didn't see her checking it out, reading the stones or whatever she read it about in a book.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, though, the stones were like those naked young teenage chicks that you see in like the Jason movies and stuff. It's eye candy for people that like those types of things. They serve really no purpose whatsoever. They try to say they're like boundaries. But come on, let's just be realistic. Boundaries.
Okay, that one stone, that one monolith was a boundary for. You saw how big the countryside was. Mm-hmm. They should have had it placed, had monoliths placed, in certain areas. So I don't think one monolith had that much power for them leprechauns.
Then now that I think about it, the chick was running, but where did she end up running to? That same exact monolith. Mm-hmm. I was like, out of all that countryside, she happened to run in the same exact direction as that one monolith.
Right, and it wasn't tall. It wasn't that tall to actually see from way far back, so she couldn't have knew where she was going, really.
We chalk that up to convenience in the plot.
Yeah.
Now, okay, let's talk about the characters. These characters I actually didn't mind. I really didn't mind them. I actually thought they were pretty cool. I mean, one thing the film does do that kind of really got on my nerves is, okay, we got some decent characters. Let's flesh them out. They didn't get fleshed out.
Well, one thing they didn't do, they didn't find any gold. Mm-hmm. They was vacation or, whatever, but they didn't find they didn't go up in there or look and find gold in that house, and that's why it was after them. No, okay, they didn't find no gold at the end, but she didn't keep it.
Yeah, like I said, I could deal with that. That was like one of the changes I could have dealt with. I was like, okay, that's fine. He's messing with this town because the town took his gold, and I can understand them trying to sacrifice and all that. I can kind of understand. I can deal with that. That's one of the changes I did accept. But okay, let's just get on to the nitty gritty stuff. Let's get to the real meat of the discussion. The leprechaun itself. What did you think?
Ugly. Like if they hadn't like said a name, they could have just made it. What did I say? One of them little CGI little robot things. But no, they put the name of who was playing the leprechaun out there. You didn't get a close up. When it did close up, what did it do? It blurred.
That was literally some of the worst filmography I've ever seen. You
didn't see a full body shot of the leprechaun.
And if you did, it was 1 second.
So it wasn't like I said, it wasn't like the creature in Jeepers Creepers. He had scenes, He had scenes by himself. It scenes to where he was, doing the stuff he do. That leprechaun, no. So I'm sorry, Hornswoggle, but no, honey, no.
I think it would have played out because when we first opens up, this leprechaun version of him is like a beast. Mm-hmm. And I kind of understand, when you think about it, the whole bestial aspect does not correlate with him hoarding gold. It does not.
No.
It didn't. It was like, why is he attacking these people? The gold did not fit.
It was like the way he looked.
That was
it's like, okay, why would a beast like that wants some gold. It's like his teeth, okay, biting, killing. His, all that's said about him, like he wanted to kill somebody. He wanted to eat somebody. He wanted to be fed. He didn't want gold. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, and that's, yeah. I'm not gonna say they were doing it to appease him, but you could have did, like, if there was a creature of intelligence, the stuff that he did would not, like the stuff he was doing in the movie, it wouldn't fit. Like even a Leprechaun, Leprechaun in the original series or whatever, he killed people, but most of the time he did it for a reason. Mm-hmm. He's like, okay, you have something I want, or you're in my way of getting something, I'm going to kill you. And then this one, it's like he was just killing folks for like he was killing folks like he was like a straight up beast. That was like a feral mind and everything. And I did not like the design. The design looked like like a chupacabra. In fact, there's a movie called Chupacabra Lost Seas or something, like Dead Seas or Red Seas or something that came out on Sci-Fi. That's what it looked like. Looked like a hairless little imp. And
yeah.
Like it sucked. It sucked. That was like literally one of the worst rebooted creatures I've ever seen. And I don't even mind them being bestial. But they could have worked it right to where he was at least bit intelligent. He didn't seem intelligent, just like he just wanted to kill. And it, remember I made a point about the whole Lost Boys. Lost Boys is a 3-movie series, but every movie the vampires are different. But I'm like, you're set in the same universe. Why are they all different? And like I said, this is a reboot, and there were some things that I liked. Like I liked the fact that one thing I didn't like about the original was he was too comical. He wasn't serious. As well, not as serious as I thought he should have been. Uh-huh. This one, way too serious. Like, get it, the thing. Like, let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it is. We wanted to hear the dude talk. That's my thing. And if you're gonna say it's an origin story, I would have loved for him to sat down and told the origin story instead of just being this creature, the generic creature that was just killing folks for no reason. And then on top of that, it died so easily. Despite all the stuff that they were doing to this towards this thing, when the dude started shooting at the beginning of the movie, when the son was shooting at it later on in the movie, mm-hmm. when they was sitting there trying to defend themselves against the thing when they first attacked the house, it was like a regular creature. What happened? The girl killed it in like 2 seconds at the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. So, like, there's no way they can make a series out of this. I'm sorry. They can't make They left it off with a cliffhanger. There's no way in the heck they'll be able to make a series out of this. No. Because what they did, at least the other one, it was series manageable. This one, you can't do it. You cannot do it. I was like, man, there was literally nothing that made this. Like, there's a way you could do these things. But the way they did in this one, Like, and just like you said about the visuals, every time they shot this thing, it was always a blurry image that was really close up to its face. It was always its shoulder or its leg or mm-hmm. its hand. And then the kill sequences are some of the laziest kill sequences I've ever seen in any movie in history. Like, they did not try. That really pissed me off with this movie. Like, this movie is just one big what could have been.
I didn't. No. It's just. No.
I honestly say Warwick Davis needs to come back. Could have came back and played this because this one had no personality. It was nothing interesting about the thing, at least. And at least Warwick's incarnation of it, he was interesting. He had witty lines. He did stuff, you know. And the only person, like I said, the movie does have actually has a pretty good cast. I think this might actually be the best cast out of all of the movies, actually.
Probably.
Because the characters are actually likable.
They had a good reason for being there. They were vacationing.
Mm-hmm. and then they actually kind of had chemistry, even though there were certain times something happened, and you think something would react in one way, but they didn't. That one sequence where what was the one guy who got bit in the leg? David. Yeah. David ended up falling because leg got bitten, and then his girlfriend didn't help him. Neither did the male dude try to help him, but the main female went back and helped him.
Right.
And again, that's one of the moments where you should be trying to flesh out all of your characters, because she was the only one that really had any backstory and all of that. Everybody else was just kind of there.
Right. You didn't know what they were. Like, she wanted. She was a. She was a history bachelor. So they didn't say what the other ones were.
And I do like this too, that the leprechaun wasn't the only thing that was being a threat. They had to deal with people too. So I did like that. In fact, that's one reason I liked Leprechaun in the Hood, because even though I hated the main characters, at least they weren't just dealing with the leprechaun themselves. They were still dealing with Baghdad.
Yeah.
So I did like that. That does help to give this film some depth. But other than that, this movie is just terrible. I would say it was worse than Back to the Hood. But the one thing I can give this movie above almost every other movie are the characters. They actually did have some some pretty good characters actually, especially Sean, the dude's son. I think that's his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had heart. Like, that's one thing I did like about him. He had heart. He wasn't in the movie for that much, but he had a pretty good amount of heart. But yeah, as far as the story is concerned, it actually was a good story. It just this movie wasn't even terrible. Let me stop that. This movie wasn't terrible. It was just a leprechaun messed everything up.
I really didn't see an origin to it, except for what the man, what is it, Hamish?
Yeah.
He told them. He didn't tell them about the leprechaun. He just told them what about the cave or whatever.
Yeah.
They had to find out the story. There was something in a book.
Yeah, that happened to be up in the house that they broke into. I think, that was the house they broke into. And they went to the basement and something, sitting out on clothes and stuff.
Yeah.
But, it does that. It actually has a pretty good origin. I didn't mind the origin. But it just, the whole thing got messed up because of the leprechaun and how predictable and cliched everything is. But, are there any final thoughts to this?
No. Not for me.
Yeah, like I said, it was just actually, I'm not going to say it was bad. It was just, could have been better. Yeah, it's not that bad. Not really bad, but it's not that good either. I was talking about terrible, but
Yep. Anyway,
I don't know what else to say about this movie. They could have done something with the leprechaun. Let him talk. I don't know.
Well, okay.
He didn't have to be magic.
If they couldn't have let him talk, let him do something else besides
just be a savage beast.
Show his lair, his cave, him going in there or whatever. But no, they just showed him and blurred out his face.
Blurring out.
Those are really terrible shots.
Yeah, and like I said, the design was straight stripped. That was the worst. If I ever find out who did the cinematography for this movie, we had to have some words. In fact, I'm quite sure they're regretting it now. This movie I don't know. I can't say, I don't know, because every time I think back to it, it's okay, at least I like the story and the characters. What would you kind of rate this as? It's generic monster movie, offering absolutely nothing new.
Maybe a 1?
I wouldn't give it. I probably would squeeze it a 3. Cause like I said, I like the story, I like the setting, and I like the characters. Even though the script was just crap.
Well, they really didn't give much on the setting of the place. They just said it was they didn't give the name of even the countryside, really.
Mm-hmm. But we done came up to the end of the show. Guys, in the comment section below, let us know, what did you think about Leprechaun Origins? Do you like the new direction that they were going with? Did you not like it? Just give us your general thoughts, and remember to subscribe, share, and like our video. And we will catch you guys in the next edition of Breaker Debates.
Toodaloo!